Welcome to Deep Journal. In order not to miss the latest developments and exclusive reports on the war being carried out by Israel, you can subscribe to our channel. One by one, Israel continues to uncover Hamas's most secret terrorist headquarters in the Gaza Strip. Through the work of the Shin Bet and the Israeli Military Intelligence Directorate, numerous Hamas headquarters, weapons, and military ammunition depots have been exposed. With the discovery of these secret tunnel headquarters by IDF intelligence, Hamas is now mobilizing with terror attacks to divert attention. In other words, the IDF forces and the Hamas terrorist organization faced each other again today. The Israel Defense Forces reported that troops from the Golani Infantry Brigade recently carried out significant clashes in the Gaza Strip against the Sabra Tel al-Hawa battalion of the Hamas terrorist organization. During these clashes, the Golani Brigade and the 53rd Battalion of the 188th Armored Brigade repeatedly raided the southern part of the Sheikh Ijlin neighborhood in Gaza City. The IDF said that as part of the raids, the Israeli brigades killed scores of members of the Hamas terrorist organization and destroyed infrastructure belonging to the Sabra Tel al-Hawa battalion, including tunnel shafts, rocket launchers, weapons caches, and observation posts. It was at this point that Hamas was forced to retreat to its most secret underground headquarters in Gaza due to heavy losses. The IDF was very sensitive and cautious about this strategy, as Hamas's strategy was to put the residents of Gaza in the forefront and to plan and carry out terrorist activities from their underground vaults. The IDF has recently launched a striking intelligence and operational activity against the Hamas terrorist organization that has gone underground in Gaza. As part of this activity, the main headquarters of Hamas in Gaza were targeted. The IDF recently discovered two new areas in Gaza that Hamas uses as headquarters on the floor of public spaces. Unfortunately, the two new headquarters discovered were very critical and sensitive building structures, such as hospitals. In other words, the Hamas terrorist organization was disregarding the lives of Gaza residents to carry out its activities in the most unexpected places, and was even using hospitals to plan and organize terrorist attacks. One of the two new Hamas headquarters underground in hospitals uncovered by the IDF was the Shifa Hospital in Gaza City. Among these secret Hamas headquarters, the IDF discovered a large area underneath the Shifa Hospital in Gaza City. Already, the IDF has repeatedly stated that there were a large number of weapons, rockets, RPGs, and other military equipment belonging to the terrorist organization. But now the Israeli Defense Ministry has presented concrete evidence that the 1,500-bed, 4,000-staff Shifa Hospital contains the military resources of Hamas terror elements underground. This material reportedly includes Hamas fuel and numerous explosive devices. The IDF used 3D mapping to outline the secret Hamas headquarters under the hospital. This mapping was published from time to time, even on social media platforms. With the discovery of this hidden Hamas headquarters, the latest live footage from the area showed intense clashes around the hospital, with constant gunfire and explosions. The IDF reported that Hamas was using residents as human shields in the hospital, and that during the clashes, the hospital went underground to create additional military stockpiles. The Israeli Defense Ministry announced that it would assist in the evacuation of the hospital to prevent residents from being affected by Hamas terrorist activities. Another secret headquarters of the Hamas terror group in the Gaza Strip was the Rantisi Hospital in northern Gaza. But the situation here was a bit more complicated than at Shifa Hospital. Intelligence gathered by the Shin Bet and Israel's Military Intelligence Directorate revealed that Rantisi Hospital had a large number of military munitions underground, and that Hamas was holding about 1,000 Gazans hostage in the hospital and using them as human shields. Because of the large number of hostages, Israel planned a very special operation to rescue the hostages and destroy one of Hamas's main secret headquarters in the hospital's underground. The special operation was carried out as part of a plan by Shin Bet and Israeli Military Intelligence Directorate personnel. It was also reported that the units of the Israeli Army's Givati Brigade participated in the operation. When the IDF moved into Rantisi Hospital, it was revealed that Ahmed Siam, the commander of the Nasser Radwan division of the Hamas terrorist organization, had prevented the evacuation of 1,000 Gazans from the hospital. The Shin Bet said that Ahmed Sian, the terrorist leader who used threatening methods to force thousands of Gaza residents into Rantisi, was operating out of the Al-Barak school in Gaza City. In order to first destroy Siam's location and kill this terror leader, the IDF directed its air force to the building where Ahmed Siam was staying. The IDF fighter jets carried out heavy bombing raids on the designated coordinates. Following these critical airstrikes, the IDF announced that Siam was killed while hiding in the Al-Barak school in Gaza City, along with other Hamas operatives under his command. The IDF said that with the elimination of the terror leader, 1,000 Gazans held in Rantisi were evacuated from the hospital in groups. Troops from Israel's Givati Brigade participated in the hostage rescue operation. The IDF has repeatedly stated that Hamas should not use areas such as hospitals to organize terrorist activities. Hamas, on the other hand, often turns public spaces into a stockpile and headquarters for terror activities, and has used this nefarious strategy against the IDF on social media, claiming that the Israeli army is targeting these areas. However, the IDF's 2 recent hostage rescue and hospital evacuation operations in Gaza were carried out with such precision that even Hamas was unable to use social media for black propaganda. After the IDF took control at this point, it continued its airstrikes against Hamas terror targets in Gaza. These Israeli airstrikes were aimed at destroying more of Hamas's secret underground headquarters and terrorist structures. The Israel Defense Forces reported that the ground forces operating in the Gaza Strip instructed the Air Force to carry out approximately 5,000 strikes to disrupt threats in real time. Some 3,300 strikes were carried out by IDF fighter jets, 860 by combat helicopters, and more than 570 by unmanned aerial vehicles. Most of the IDF's planned airstrikes took place within a few hundred meters of the Israeli army's ground forces, some even closer than that. Despite this line of fire, the communication and cohesion between the Israeli army's ground and air forces was remarkable. It was reported that the shortest time measured between the moment when the IDF ground forces called in a target and the airstrike was 6 minutes. On the other hand, the IDF stated that the strikes helped the ground forces to thwart threats to the forces, and also to return fire on Hamas operatives in the midst of the battle. But how long can the Hamas terrorist organization withstand these heavy IDF attacks? The Israeli regular army, with its land, naval, and air forces, is preparing for much more violent attacks in the coming days. Since Hamas doesn't have a regular structure, and the terrorist organization often uses underground tunnel lines in the Gaza Strip and secret underground headquarters under buildings in the city, it's likely that sooner or later it will have problems with military ammunition. As the IDF destroys these secret underground structures, Hamas will have to somehow replace its losses. The only place in the Gaza Strip where Hamas can obtain additional military ammunition is along the Rafah border with Egypt. But the IDF is constantly monitoring and controlling these areas as well. In short, the Hamas terror group has no chance in Gaza for the long term. Thank you for watching us. You can subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and click the Super Thanks button below in order not to miss the most up-to-date videos prepared by our team, with the latest developments on the front lines and exclusive reports on the war being carried out by Israel and all the conflicts in the Middle East. See you in our next work.